Karthik asked me a question about the philosophy of Indo-Aryans versus Austroasiatic people versus Dravidians a while back. At that time, there was a huge din and noise at this marriage hall. They had a music gala, so I couldn't speak at that time. So now the music has ended, so I am beginning to I'm trying to explain my stand or what my understanding of what exactly Karthik wants to know. So it's a queer question. Indo-Aryan philosophy versus Austroasiatic philosophy versus Dravidian philosophy. So basically, at the outset, I have to say that we simply don't have any clue about what was the philosophy of Austroasiatic people or Dravidian people. We know about their ideas only in an indirect way from Indo-Aryan sources. So we don't have any direct Dravidian source or Austroasiatic source. Austroasiatic people didn't write almost till modern times, till recent times. They didn't write down anything. And Dravidian peoples also didn't write until much later into the historic era. So mostly in the prehistorical times, we simply don't have any written evidence, any textual literary evidence of what was the philosophy of Indo-Aryans or Dravidians or of Austroasiatic or Dravidians. Of course, we have some idea of what is the philosophy of Indo-Aryans. So basically, let me try to begin with Karthik. There is somebody who is watching the live. Is it you, Karthik? If you are Karthik, if you are watching, please say hi so that I can have some more questions from you. If you are not there, I guess I have to send you a link of this talk. Okay, good, Karthi. Okay, so because you are listening, would you like me to proceed in English or Tamil? Tamil பேசட்டுமா இங்கிலீஷில் பேசட்டுமா? Somehow I don't know why I began in English because I did not see you. There. I don't know. I spontaneously began in English. That's a curious thing. Yeah, why I began in English is something I have to think. So I would like to know what is the language in which you would like to listen to me. Is it Tamil or English? 35 people watching right now. Happy so many people are there out there. And we are trying to tease out for just a few minutes preliminaries into the philosophical systems of Indo-Aryans versus Dravidians versus Austroasiatic people. Probably Karthik was actually more interested in Austroasiatic people than in either of Dravidians or simple English or Tamil. Okay, let me go ahead in English because somehow, for some reason, subconsciously I began this in English. I'll go ahead in English. So if you don't understand anything, please do put a break on me and I'll try to explain that in Tamil also. Okay, so we have only evidence for Indo-Aryan philosophy. There is so much of it, almost literally floods of it. But there are certain curious things which Oriental philosophers and later Oriental scholars interpreted about most of the Indo-Aryan philosophy extant. That is, whatever Indo-Aryan philosophy that we have, they try to tease out. Because Indo-European people, when the eastern branch of the Indo-Aryan people spread into two groups, that is Iranian peoples and Indo-Aryan. So the Iranian branch, when the Iranian branch divided and the Indo-Aryan people entered the Indian subcontinent, their cultures and their thinking and their philosophy changed to a lot of extent. But before this dichotomy, before the point of divergence of Indo-European, Indo-Aryan people and Iranian peoples, when both of them were living together, they might have had they had almost all things in common, right? So, based on comparative comparisons between Aryan philosophical systems and philosophical ideas and Iranian ideas from Zen, Avesta, and from other sources. Basically, the early Oriental philosophers discovered that a lot of Indo-Aryan philosophy has diverged a lot from Iranian philosophy. So there were a lot of ideas in Indo-Aryan system that were not there in Iranian philosophical systems or religion. Basically, when you have to talk about philosophy, you have to begin with religion. There is no other way that we can talk about all these things. So there is this curious question of the gods of Indo-Aryan people. So all the prominent gods that we know now, right, like Indra, Varuna, Mitra, Ushas, Kayudavas, and several other gods, they exist also in Iranian mythology. But strangely, they don't exist in any other, although some of them, like sky, and probably that's where the Jupiter and Greek Jews idea came from, they believe. But the Indo-Aryan gods like Indra, Mitra, Varuna, these are all not there at all in any of the other Indo-European people, other than Iranians. So here it comes a very curious question. So did Aryans and Iranians both have the same gods, or were they different? So when you look further deep into it, they found out that the gods of Indo-Aryan people were actually identified as demons in Iranian mythology, and Iranian gods were demonized in Indo-Aryan mythology. So very simplest approximations are Indra. Whereas Indra is a god in Indo-Aryan mythology, Indra is a demon in Iranian mythology. And the same way there is this Ahura Mazda. Although the term Mazda is not very prominent, it's not found in Indo-Aryans. The word Ahura, which is actually a different, it's a variation of Asura, is actually there in Iranian. So the Iranian Ahura and Indo-Aryan Asura are the same, and this is a curious point over here. While Ahura is a god in the Iranian mythological system, Asuras are actually demons in Indo-Aryan system. So basically the Indo-Aryan people, so this actually points to a particular situation where probably the Iranians and Indo-Aryans were living close together, but they were rivals and competitors for the same resources, and probably they were enemies before the Indo-Aryans encountered the people there, the indigenous people of Indian subcontinent. When they were in Central Asia, probably at that time this mythology developed of Indra, Varuna, Mitra and everybody, and especially Suras and Asuras. Whereas Suras are demons in Iranian mythology and Asuras are gods in Iranian mythology. In Indo-Aryans, it's the reverse. Asuras are the demons and Suras are the gods. So this actually points out that probably those two people were living close together, and they demonized the other people. One group demonized the other group's gods and icons. So this is a very first curious thing. But beyond that, the identification ceases. Beyond that, there are no other Iranian parallels. Of course, Mitra, Varna, and all there. But beyond that, when you come to other later Indo-Aryan gods like Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, these are simply not there in Iranian system. So probably the Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu were developed, or they were incorporated into Indo-Aryan mythology after they entered the Indian subcontinent. So once the Indo-Aryans entered the Indian subcontinent, they seem to have absorbed or developed. We don't exactly have precise data on these, but we have different interpretations by different scholars who think on different ways. So like some people identify Shiva as a Dravidian god, some others identify Shiva as a Austroasiatic god, some others say he's actually an Indo-Aryan god. So we don't have a precise okay. So we don't have precise clues to where they got this god from, or whether they developed the godhead out of their own mythological previous Indo-European gods. But most scholars incline to the idea that they actually absorbed the indigenous gods, because these gods are not prominent in Rig Veda. Rig Veda talks mostly about Agni, about Indra, about Varuna, about Ashwins, and about all the Ushas and so many other gods. So in that sense, probably we have a very, very curious illustration. Whether Shiva was Austroasiatic or was he a Dravidian god, we have simply no idea. And whether it's Brahma is a Dravidian god or Austroasiatic, because Brahma does not exist anywhere in the other Indo-European peoples. Brahma is not there anywhere at all. So, and also there is this idea that actually the Brahmin class of Indo-European people simply don't exist in the other in the other Indo-European people. The other Indo-European people have, although they have the tripartite system like priests, priests, warriors, and cultivators, or not Shudras, the land tillers. You can say cultivators, nothing wrong with that. Pastoralists and cultivators. So apart from these, we simply don't have any evidence for Brahma in any of the other Indo-European things. So probably Brahma and Brahminical system were adopted by Indo-Aryans from either a Dravidian or an Austroasiatic people. So this is a curious thing, and very few of modern Indian historians have accepted this. Like one for my favorite is D.D. Kosambi, who accepted this stand, and he says that he accepts that Brahmins were originally non-Aryan people who were Aryanized and absorbed into the Aryan fold. Probably they were Dravidian priesthood or Austroasiatic priesthood. We don't have very precise ideas of what it is essentially. But there are certain clues, like a system very similar to the Brahminical system is practiced by this set of people called, this tribe called Todas in the top of Nilgiri Plateau. The Toda people have a set of rituals and purity pollution concepts very similar to the Brahminical. We don't know whether the Todas adopted these from the Brahmins of the plains, or were they originally extant within the Dravidian people? We have no idea. And also we have the ancient myths and metaphors of Mahishasura Mardini versus Mahisha. The idea of Mahishasura and Mardini are probably a derivative of clash of two peoples. Mahisha probably represents a Austroasiatic or Mongoloid buffalo worshipping people, and Mardini belonged to a matrilineal or matriarchal culture of probably Dravidian. This is one way of looking at it, or the reverse might be also true. Because the latest there are a lot of the Tibeto-Burman people are basically fundamentally matriarchal, so maybe they are the ones from whom the goddess Mardini is derived, while the buffalo worshipping people were probably the Dravidians. We don't know which one of these is true. Okay, my niece has called.
Hello, ma'am.
Okay, Karthik, if you are live, I'm sorry, I have to apologize to you. I need to go and pick my niece up. I'm going to her hospital right now. So it will take me an hour to reach home. Once I reach home, I will call you and you can come on live. If you come on live, I'll have a better way of exposition. I can talk more freely and தமிழில் வேறு பேசலாம். ஓகேவா? இவ்வளோ நேரம் தேவையில்லாமல் இங்கிலீஷில் பேசினேன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஸோ எனக்கு மொட்டையாக ஒரு கேமராவை பார்த்து பேசுகிறத விட ஒரு மனிதர்கிட்ட பேசுறது எனக்கு சுலபமாகவும் நல்லாவும் இருக்கும். அதனால் லைவில் தயவு செஞ்சு வா, நம்ம பேசுவோம். நான் வீட்டுக்கு போனதும் ரஃப்லி ஒரு 10-10:30 வாக்கில் நான் உனக்கு கால் பண்ணுறேன். ஓகே, தேங்க்யூ கார்த்தி, தேங்க்யூ அதர் வியூவர்ஸ், டேக் கேர், பாய் பாய்.